Hello everybody, it's Sarah and welcome to day 11 of Bookmas. I've now also finally put all my Bookmas videos in a playlist, so if you have missed any of the videos, I will leave the playlist link down below and up there. And now for today, we're going to talk about the 5-star predictions I had in 2020 and how much I actually loved these books when I read them. How many stars did I rate them? And maybe it's kind of counterproductive to upload this video first, because in a few days I'm gonna have a video up discussing my rating systems and like rating books in general, pitfalls, reviewing and rating books, like pitfalls you can fall into and so on. So maybe I should have done that video first, so you know how I rate and you know why I give books 5 stars or why I don't give books 5 stars. But very shortly, without taking anything away from that other video, basically for me, I have gotten very picky with my 5 stars this year, and for me, for a book to be 5 stars, it basically has to be an all-time favorite. There has to be a combination of just like artistic elements within the book that I absolutely love, as well as, and that is even more important, the book has to very much touch me, either emotionally, intellectually. There has to be something moved within me, or I have to feel moved in some way that I give a book 5 stars. And so yeah, I was very picky with my 5 stars in 2020, so let's see if any of the books I predicted got that rating. And I won't go in order in which I talked about it in my predictions video, because I forgot which order I talked about it in that video. So I just have a stack of books right here that were my 5-star predictions, and I'll go through them. But first, I had The Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff on my list. This won't be talked about here because, of course, the publication has been pushed to 2021, so obviously I wasn't able to read it, so we can move that out of the way already. First, I have Lady Hotspur by Tessa Gretton. This is a Shakespeare retelling of Henry IV. My reasoning for putting this on my 5-star predictions list is that I absolutely loved Queens of Innislia, which was a Shakespeare retelling of King Lear. And I gave Queens of Innislia 4.5 stars. And this, additionally to being like the same formula as the Queens of Innislia, this also is sapphic. And like, gay makes everything better, so this can only be a 5-star. However, something that happened was that I just didn't connect with the characters in this book as much, and I didn't love the characters as much in this book and didn't find them quite as interesting. So while I still really loved this book, I think I was actually lukewarm when I finished it, but Tessa Gretton has this thing where the longer you sit on the book, the better it gets, like better than right after finishing. So I think I gave this 3.5 stars after I finished it, and then I gave it 4 stars later on. But if you want to know my exact thoughts on this book, I actually did do a review, so I will leave that link down below and up there if you're interested. The book that I was absolutely the most certain would be a 5-star was The Queen's Bargain by Anne Bishop, which is the newest and 10th book in the Black Jewel series. The last book before this one came out in 2013, so it's been 7 years of waiting for me, and I was so excited for this. I was sure I would give it 5 stars no matter what the plot of the story is, because I just love the characters so much. But then Anne Bishop did the one thing that would make me give this less than 5 stars, because like there's nothing that will make me give a book 5 stars faster than nostalgia. I'm a hoe for nostalgia, and I do not care, judge me if you will, but like that's how it is. But Anne Bishop kind of fucked up the characterization of some of the characters, and I felt like how they were acting within this novel was kind of out of character for them, and it kind of ruined some of the relationships within the story, and that made me really sad. And like the nostalgia factor was still really strong, so I still gave this 4 or 4.5 stars I think, but it just wasn't the perfect return to this world that I wanted. However, I still have my hopes up for the next book, which is The Queen's Weapon, which comes out in 2021. So I still have 3 months to wait. I think it comes out in March. But yeah, that was a sad one. By the way, for those of you who do not know what the Black Jewels series is about, the Black Jewels series is about this world that has been perverted and corrupted, whose society has been perverted and corrupted for centuries, if not millennia. And now there's a prophecy of dreams made flesh, the living myth, witch coming to make everything right. And so we follow a handful of characters who are waiting for the coming of witch and whose lives will be changed by the coming of witch. And it's just a beautiful story. It's my favorite series of all time. So yeah, you can imagine my disappointment. How big my disappointment must be that I don't give this 5 stars. The next 5-star prediction I had was Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. This is the second book in the Blood of the Stars duology. The first book was Spin the Dawn. And my reasoning behind having this on my list is that I absolutely loved Spin the Dawn. I gave Spin the Dawn 5 stars. And usually, like, first books take some time to get into, and usually then second books tend to be better, or I tend to prefer them a lot of the times. So surely I would love this at least as much as Spin the Dawn. However, that wasn't really the case. But first, the plot of Spin the Dawn of the duology is kind of a Mulan retelling where we follow Maya, who is the daughter of a tailor. She has this big dream to herself one day open up a tailor shop. However, as a woman, she's not allowed to be a tailor. Now, the royal tailor died, and so there is a competition for the new royal tailor to which her father is invited. Her father is already old, his hands aren't what they used to be anymore, so Maya dresses up as her brother to go in her father's stead. And I absolutely love the first book. I also really enjoyed the second book. I would definitely recommend the duology as a whole. However, in the second book there were just some elements that I loved so much about the first book that just weren't there anymore in the second book. And so I only gave this 4.5 stars, I think. Next 5-star prediction was The Silvered Serpents by Roshani Chokshi, which is book 2 in the Gilded Wolf series. Again, the reason why I put this on my predictions list was because I absolutely loved The Gilded Wolves. The Gilded Wolves was one of my top 10 favorite books of 2019. I wanted to say 2020. 2019. And so I was sure I would love this one. Even more than with Unravel the Dusk, because of course The Blood of the Stars was only a duology. But this is a series. I think it's a trilogy. Maybe there's gonna be more books. I'm not sure. Whatever. But the first book did take a lot of time to set up, and so I was sure that in the second book, when we already have everything set up, that we can get right into the story and that I would love it even more than the first book. This series is kind of a YA ensemble cast heist series, where in every single book we have a heist at the center of the story. But generally we follow this cast of characters, this ensemble cast of characters, and our main character Severin tries to get back his lost legacy. And there's magic and stuff, and it's set at the end of the 19th century. The first one was set in Paris, this one is set in Russia, and it's just like the ensemble cast and the setting are beautiful. But overall, plot-wise, I did not enjoy this quite as much as The Gilded Wolves, so I could only give it 4.5 stars because I did prefer The Gilded Wolves, and I already gave The Gilded Wolves 5 stars. And so yeah, this was a 4.5 star for me. Again, I still really do recommend the series, and just because it's not a 5 star doesn't mean that I didn't absolutely love and enjoy my reading experience. I just have gotten really particular with my 5 stars, like even more particular than within 2019. I'm not even sure if I would give The Gilded Wolves 5 stars anymore in 2019, but actually no, I would probably give it 5 stars. But yeah, so another dud. I don't know how many duds we have by now. I think 4? Yeah. Out of 4 predictions, none were 5 stars so far. Then I had a prediction that wasn't a specific prediction, but I did intend to finish The Wheel of Time within 2020 because I had 12 books left at the beginning of the year, so 1 book per month, yada yada. But anyway, so I said that at least one of the books in The Wheel of Time has got to be 5 stars, right? It's 15 books in that series. At least one is gonna be a 5 stars. And I had two problems that I came across with that. First problem was that I did not finish the series within 2020. I am right now at New Spring. I wanted to read Knife of Dreams first actually, but it hasn't arrived yet, so I started New Spring first. So I'm at New Spring. I still have 4 books in the series left to read. I will probably finish Knife of Dreams still this year. We'll see how it goes. And then my second problem was that of the books that I read, about half of the books are known as the Wheel of Time slog. So they really weren't that enjoyable to read, and there were a couple of duds in there, and I just didn't enjoy my experience too much. So yeah, I did not give any of the Wheel of Time books that I read this year 5 stars. I don't know, maybe Knife of Dreams will still get 5 stars from me, because I have heard from multiple people that it's their favorite book and that it's the best book within the Wheel of Time series. But I don't know, I gotta be honest, I don't think any of the books within the series will get 5 stars from me, because I'm just not invested enough in the characters, and I just don't love the characters enough. And that's just one of the biggest things for me to give a book or a fantasy book 5 stars. So 5 out of 5 duds. But now we're getting to the first book that kind of got 5 stars from me, and that is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, which is the 4th book in the Wheel of Time series. Wheel of Time, Stormlight Archive series. Talked about the Wheel of Time so much just now. So yeah, and here we come back to this thing, what I just said about the Wheel of Time, why I probably won't give it 5 stars, or any of the books that I still have left to read, and that is the characters. Because I said it, I'm like really biased sometimes with my rating systems. I am very subjective in my ratings. Like, if I do reviews, I try to be more objective and try to say, you know, these are the things that like are done within the book. I personally enjoyed them. You can enjoy them or not enjoy them. But with my basic ratings, I'm so subjective. And one of the main things that will make me give a book 5 stars is if I absolutely love the characters and if I have a lot of nostalgia connected to a series. And both is the case with the Stormlight Archive series. The Stormlight Archive series is... nostalgia-wise, The Black Jewels is my favorite series, but like, if I ignore the nostalgia, the Stormlight Archive is probably my favorite series of all time. So like, there's no way I won't give a book in this series 5 stars. So I obviously gave Rhythm of War 5 stars. It's the first time my prediction was correct. Yay! However, it was kinda only half correct, because if I just consider the Cosmere, or even just the Stormlight Archive, this isn't necessarily a 5-star read. This is more like a 4.5 star read. It's one of my less favorite Cosmere books. It's my 3rd favorite Stormlight book. So yeah, it's in the lower half of the Stormlight. So yeah, I mean, I guess I was kind of correct with that prediction, but also kind of not. Let's give it a half point. But now the last of the predictions was my first 5-star read of 2020, and it's one of the first books I read within 2020, and it's gonna be on my favorites list. I can already spoil you that, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This book did everything I wanted it to do. It has beautiful writing, it has a beautiful story, it has incredibly interesting characters, it has an incredibly beautiful and yet sad romance, and I just love it. This is a retelling of the Iliad, kind of, not really, because the Iliad is very much a small part of this, but it's a retelling of Achilles' life, or more specifically Patroclus' life and how he sees Achilles. And so it's also a retelling or a story of their relationship, and it's so beautiful. And I also have a review of this up, so I will leave the link down below and up there. I, by the way, also have a review of Rhythm of War, so that will be also linked down below. But yeah, first 5-star read of the year. The only solid prediction I had, because man, this book is just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Everyone go and read it. But yeah, with that said, that was all the 5-star predictions I had for 2020. I'm sure I'm going to upload my predictions for 2021 soon. And yeah, tell me in the comments down below if you have read any of the books and how did you rate them? How did you do with your 5-star predictions for 2020 if you like have done predictions? And with that said, if you enjoyed this video, maybe think about giving me a thumbs up and also maybe subscribing. All the links to my social media are in the description box down below, so go and check those out. All the links to my book club of Queens, Witches and Valkyries, where we read one adult high fantasy book written by a woman per month, are also linked down below. And I hope I'll see you soon. Bye!